Good morning. Good Monday morning to you. I hope your day is going well so far. Mine is going great. Early, but that's my life. Today I'm going to not sit on a cat. Talk to you about why I machine milk one cow and hand milk another. Seems kind of silly, like why would I not do just one or the other exclusively? It would sound, it would sound smarter to just do one or the other. Why do both? Well, let's start with Edna. So the reason I'm starting with Edna is because she's the first that came in the barn today. I don't have it's usually Edna that comes in first, but if Apple comes in first, then I milk her first. It's fine. I have not, knock on wood, had the issue yet of them both barging in the barn at the same time, but I'll deal with that if I have to. I have plans if that happens. But anyway, so this is Edna. Edna is, I have a video when we got Edna talking about her, but long story short, we got her back in March. And it was a complete random, went to an Amish store shopping and saw an ad for a cow for this heifer on their, sorry, my hair's annoying me, bulletin board thing. And it was kind of on my heart the whole day that we were shopping in the area, and apparently my husband's as well, because in the end we decided, why are we not going to look at that heifer? Long story short, we looked at her and she was in rough shape. But both of us had this feeling, for one, she was a really good deal. And two, we quickly came up with a plan that we could get her and keep her in quarantine, keep our other animals safe. And we just had the feeling like we felt led to this cow, even though, so she was the first calf heifer, even though she looked really rough, but I don't know. The Lord led us to her. So anyway, we ended up with this cow, this heifer, and the Amish gentleman hand milked her, and I could tell that her teats were small. I'm used to really nice teats from Apple, but I thought, well, he hand milked her, I could handle it too. And she stood great. I mean, she stood wonderfully from day one. She never gave me a hard time. At all, but it became clear to me very quickly that her teats were very difficult for me to milk out. She ironically also has a hand milking side and a machine milking side, which is so funny. But I found out that in the space we had her at first, her quarantine area, it's probably me versus her, but I couldn't hand milk her on one side. I couldn't hand milk her on this side. Like the milk would run down my arms. I couldn't get it to her, the way her teats are positioned, I couldn't get it into the bucket. So I had to always be on the other side hand milking. Again, she didn't care. But it became very clear to me very early on that it was difficult. Her teats were so small, they're thin, and the position she's very small cow too, and the position my body had to be in to get to them, my shoulders just killed me, my elbows killed me, my upper back, I was in so much pain. Again, I've had years of hand milking experience, so it's not like I'm not used to it, and Apple was still in milk at the time, so I was still milking. Okay, I'm hoping I can do this with the machine going, with the milker going. And you'll be able to still hear me. I might move a little bit away. This pump is actually pretty quiet. We have a pretty quiet pump, which is great. So, long story short, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle hand milking her. My body couldn't handle it. So, we happened to know someone that had a milker, a bucket style milker that he was not using at the time, and said we could borrow it because I didn't want to buy something. Milkers are expensive. I didn't want to buy something and not like it, or her not be willing to cooperate with it. She's such an easygoing cow. I figured she'd be fine, but you never know. So I didn't want to buy something and her, you know, she not like it, whatever. So we were able to borrow this milker, and I was very clunky with it, but and honestly I didn't like it. I didn't like the milker itself, the milk machine itself at all, but I figured out that she didn't care, and that and she milked out just fine with the machine, and that I realized, yes, this is the right thing, but we can't get a bucket milker. Like I knew right away. I hated the bucket milker. I get it, it's for some people love it. So like that's fine. It's totally fine. We all have things that work for us and don't, but I hated cleaning that bucket milker. I have a kitchen sink, you know, and I don't have a milk house, and so that huge bucket with the hose and cleaning that every day, no thank you. And she's so small that I swear I had to be standing on my head upside down to get the claw onto her. It was so hard. So I did lots of research, and I came to the conclusion that I think a surge milker would be best for us. And luckily I'm in Wisconsin. We are a dairy state, so surge milkers were not terribly hard to find. I got a surge milker. I ordered all the replacement stuff, all the replacement rubber pieces and all that stuff. I fixed it up, and the hardest thing to find was a pump that was adequate enough, that wasn't gigantic for, you know, 10 cows. I just needed one cow pump. I needed something small. And a friend of mine, her dad just happened to see something on an auction and sent it to me, and I won this through an auction. I actually was in a bidding war over this. It actually came with a pump, with a bucket milker as well. I didn't want that, and I actually turned around and sold that. But I wanted the pump, and the pump is right there. It works great. It is nothing fancy, but it works great. And so I was able to, you know, get this set up as I needed, and we went from there. And I love the surge milker. I absolutely love it. These are old school milkers, but for me, milking one cow, not having a milk house that I have a deep sink or anything like that to clean stuff in, it washes up so easy. I have no long tubing to wash every single day. I don't have this huge bucket that I can't lift. I'm a strong woman. I mean, this is heavy. This gets heavy, and I have to lift it up to pour the milk out, but she's not producing 6, 7, 8 gallons at a time. This is a smaller milker. I believe this one's a 4 gallon, if I remember right, the capacity. But I actually, when I bought the machine, the milker itself, the guy only would sell me a bunch of them. So I have 4. I went to get one, I have 4. I have the other 3 I was going to refurbish. I bought all the new rubber and stuff for those, and then got busy moving, so I didn't actually turn around and sell them. But I have surge milkers for sale if anyone wants. But I'm going to keep one more, I think a bigger one, just in case with future lactations, if she's a bigger producer and I need a bigger bucket. But this is a Jersey bucket size, so she should be fine with it. Anyway, so it works great for me. I love it. It milks her out fast. In fact, I really need to go check. I'm going to check her right now. She might be done. At least with her front quarters. Her front quarters are less, they give me less. Now I massage a little bit just to make sure that they're done. Yep, they are. And one of these days I'll show you all the ways exactly how to milk with a surge milker. And how I know she's done. But my fault. So it's fast and she stands great. And so the time it takes me to milk, to actually get her set up, get her milked, plus the time it takes me to filter and to wash everything up is either it's very close or less time than it took me to hand milk her the same amount. Just because her, like I said, we just didn't mesh. Our bodies didn't mesh when it came to hand milking, but I didn't want to give up on her. She's a great little cow. I have the best of both worlds. I have a great little cow that lets me machine milk her, and I have a machine that gives my body a break, but also doesn't take me forever to clean. It's a machine I can handle. I love the Surge Milker. I'm a fan. And like I said, and I know the bucket milker we borrowed. I'm so thankful that we were able to borrow that. It was such a lifesaver. Sadly and ironically, he lent it to us. Their Jersey was about to calve shortly, but they wanted to just leave the calf. They weren't going to leave the calf on her. They were going to milk for a while. And I can't remember exactly. I think because this was a heifer, they were milking the cow, the mom, something like that. They didn't need 2 cows to milk. So they're like, yeah, go ahead. They were hand milking the other one. Borrow it. Well, like literally 2 or 3 days later that we borrowed it, this heifer had the calf didn't make it, and she had teeny tiny little teats, and they were like, apparently I felt so bad because we had their milker and they were having a really hard time getting her milked out at first, and so we got the milker back to them, and oh man. But I do know that milker style itself is not the best style. If you are bucket milk, if you want bucket milkers, that's great. I'm not gonna tell you you can't. Just don't get a cheap one. Don't get a cheap one. You have to spend money on them. You just have to. Spend the money, get a nicer one, get one with a lid that locks and doesn't. This one would hold. The lid would be held on only by pressure, the suction. So it was just a pain. It would fall off all the time if you didn't have the actual machine running. Oh, it was something else. But there were, anyways. That's neither here nor there. I can talk more about the different machines in my video about surge milking. But either way, so that is why I machine milk this one. She gives about, right now, 2.5 gallons a day, almost consistently, exactly 2.5 gallons a day. So that's great. She's, I don't know how many months into lactation, February till now, 8 months into lactation, I think, something like that. And she should be bred, so let's all say a prayer. She should still be bred. And yeah, so we will continue with that. And next, I'll show you Apple and why I hand milk the other cow. All right, and this, my friends, is Apple, a much bigger cow. The cow you all have seen many times. All right. So here we go, hand milking our big old Apple. Apple is my OG. Actually, no, she's not. She, I started out hand milking, clearly, but she's not the first cow we had. We bought a cow, our first cow. She ended up with staph A infection and had to get rid of her. And then we had a foster cow. Hand milked that one as well. And then we had Apple. But Apple we have had for nearly 6 years. So I have been hand milking this cow for a long time. And why did we hand milk? Why did we start out hand milking? Because we don't have a lot of money. Because for us, we have always been a very budget conscious family. In order for me to stay home, with the children, we have to be extremely budget conscious. And for us to buy a cow, Mind you, back when we bought our first cow, cattle were not as expensive as they are now, but it still was a lot of money for us to buy a cow. And we had never even drank raw milk, let alone, you know, milked a cow, and all that goes into milking a cow, the commitment, all that. We didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on something that we wouldn't like, or you know, maybe wouldn't work out for us. Plus, just the cleaning factor. Like again, I'm a researcher. I did lots of research, lots of reading on it, and these are really, really inexpensive to clean. And the bucket itself takes no time to clean. So it was a time factor, and it was a major budget factor. We just couldn't justify buying. So she is really dirty. Her teeth are a little dirty today. Just making sure that she's all good and clean. Okay, so we couldn't justify getting a machine. I always knew, and I still know, that hand milking might not be a forever thing for me, but I will do it as long as I can. I love hand milking, actually. I really do. I like how I feel like I really can. I mean, one of the reasons I know this cow so well is because we've had her for so long, but hand milking really does help build that bond. I can totally tell if something's just not right. Like there's different mannerisms that she has. I can really pay attention to her, and know. And after, yes, you get a good workout, and especially after, you know, a dry off period, your body kind of has to remember, oh, which muscles do I have to use? Oh yeah, those muscles, you know, that type of thing. So there is, you know, a little bit of that, but she's got really nice, let's see if you can see, hand milking teats, nice long teats. Her ones in the back are a little bit bigger, but they're not terrible. I can still milk them. And in fact, I remember in the last video I talked about them when she calved in, her teats were huge, but they're back to what they had been in previous lactation. So it was just swelling, thank goodness. Because I thought, oh no, don't tell me your udder is getting ruined, you know, from 2.5 years of continual milking. So yes, I strip milked. I did this in the last one. I talk and then I forget what I did, but I do remember strip milking. In the last one I strip milked twice, but that's why I hand milk. I hand milk because it's cheaper, and really it's not. It takes a little bit of a learning curve, but it's really not that bad, and it doesn't take me long to hand milk her at all. It does. She's an easy one to hand milk. She's got decent teat openings. So that was the other thing with Edna. Like, not only were her teats like a pinky, you know, they're really, really small, but her teat openings are really thin. So like I'd get like this little stream. So what I can get in one squeeze, I don't know, what's the word? Words are hard in the morning. Out of her would take me like 5 or 6 out of the other, you know, it just, so hers aren't too big though that she's like dealing with mastitis. So the opening I'm talking about, like the literal hole, the literal tube that the milk comes out, Edna's just seem to be very small, which she's a first calf heifer. They're going to be. Her udder will change as she has more calves. That's what happens. And apples are a little bit bigger, so I get more milk. Like, I don't have to work as hard for the milk. Does that make sense? More comes out every time I squeeze the teat. So that is helpful, but they're not too big, because sometimes cows can have really big teat openings, usually because of damage, because of, you know, things being injected in them for mastitis or dry off or whatever. So that can cause issues, because then bacteria can get up in there easier because there's a bigger hole. Does that make sense? So hers are just kind of like perfect, the sweet spot, I think. Of course, I'm partial, but she's never had mastitis that I've had her 6 years, never has had mastitis. Never have I had to put any treatment in her teat opening. So when you have to do treatment, you literally have to go up through the teat opening. It's just horrific sounding, but it is what it is. And I've never had to do that. So it keeps her udders very nice. I don't push her production either. So she's got a very nice udder for a 9-year-old cow. A very nice udder. And yeah, she's easy to milk. So why don't I have a machine. Like I said, I have extras. I could always just throw a machine on her. So I did buy her from a dairy. And so she has been milked. Her first lactation would have been milked with a machine. So could she machine milk? Probably. She'd probably be just fine machine milking. And I am always keeping that as an option. Like I absolutely could machine milk her and get one of my other surge milkers, one of the higher capacity ones, put it on her. And in fact, I'll tell you about that when I talk about the surge machine itself. But Mike made the strap for the milker, and he made a bigger one for Apple because Edna's even at the biggest setting that won't fit Apple. So I actually have a strap all ready for her if I were to decide to machine milk her. It is nice to have as a backup in case something were to happen to me where I couldn't hand milk. We could throw a machine on her. Would it be a learning curve for all of us? Yes, and for her, she probably wouldn't love it, to tell you the truth, but I'm sure she'd get used to it. It would be fine. I just really enjoy hand milking. I do. I like hand milking. If I could have hand milked Edna as well, I would have done that. I just enjoy it. So that's why I do it. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. There's other reasons, but bottom line, now that I do have a machine, now that I do have a pump, and I do have a setup, I still want to continue hand milking. I am a once a day milker. I don't enjoy having to milk in the evening. I have a very, very busy life, as most of us do, right? And it just turns out that morning milking before everyone's up, I do have a little bit of guilt that I don't have the kids out here milking with me. They do know how to milk. They have milked, but it's kind of my time. It's my selfish time in the barn. But doing it before everyone's up, I get them milked, get them fed, and get them taken care of. Get inside, filter the milk, get it cooling, and start with breakfast and all that stuff, and get the kids up and going for our day. It just works so much better for me. There is time periods where I do have to twice a day milk. When we first got Edna, or when most of the time we've had Edna, I've had to hand twice a day milk because we didn't have a calf with her. Her calf that she had passed away, so we didn't ever have the calf. But so because she didn't have anything to relief milk her, especially during the peak periods and stuff, we got her in March, and I hand milked her until the end of July, I twice a day milked her until the end of July. Then I switched over to once a day milking, and that's been going great. Apple here has a calf, obviously, but when a calf is born, it cannot handle the volume of milk that she makes. She makes a lot of milk. We're probably at peak. I think we estimated probably around 8-9 gallons a day. But a calf cannot handle that, and she's not at peak at all. But they don't get to peak till like 4 months after calving. But either way, the calf cannot handle the amount of volume that she produces at once or in the beginning, and I don't want mastitis. So I relief milk twice a day for a while until the calf gets big enough that I feel like he's able to handle it. And I judge that on when I evening milk how much I'm getting, and how much it feels like I have to take before I feel like I'm giving her relief. And it started to get down to about a gallon, and I just could tell that she was adjusting well. He's growing like a weed. He is huge, and he's able to handle a lot more milk. So we actually just switched back to once a day milking, and so he's about 3 weeks old. So yeah, just shy of 3 weeks old it was, and she's doing great. He's doing great. She comes in with a much bigger udder. She's much more full in the morning, but that's okay. I completely milk her out. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't. The nice thing is with calf sharing is I don't have to completely milk her out. I can say, that's good enough, be done, and he'll take care of the rest. That's really nice. I don't have to worry about mastitis, but I do try to milk her out pretty fully in the morning, and then he gets all day long. He has a full milk bar all day long, and he usually is awake. You know, he eats before I get to her and stuff like that. So yeah. So even though I hand milk, it doesn't take me. So what this has been, it probably takes me 10 minutes. I'm almost done here. And of course, if I'm talking, it's a little bit longer, but it doesn't take me very long to milk out again, we're at about 2.5 gallons. A little over 2.5 gallons. Again, she's not at peak. I'll probably be getting close to 4. That's what it's been, but every lactation, they usually produce more, so it could be more than 4 gallons a morning and 4 gallons of milk, and I only have a 3-gallon bucket, so that's a little bit of that's fun. I end up when she reaches peak, when she gets when I get more, when calf is weaned and I end up having more, I end up having to milk partially into jars. I actually hold the jar and milk into it. I probably will likely just get another bucket this time around. I've had this bucket for years. I don't want a bigger bucket because, again, I have to lift this bucket up and I have to, pour it into jars and stuff, and too big causes a mess and spillage and stuff, but I probably will just get another bucket when we get to that point, when, I'll keep my eye out for another bucket. But yeah, so long story short, I just like it. I like to hand milk. I like the bond, the closeness with my cow. I don't freeze in the winter. A lot of people say, oh my gosh, you're going to be so cold. You've got to be freezing. No, her nice warm udder, and oh, she's so warm. She keeps me warm. I'm colder milking Edna because it's more hands off. I guess that's it. I don't know what else more to say about why I have one of each. Again, like I said, in the future, maybe my body won't like this. I do have to go to the massage therapist a lot, but I think that has a lot to do with stress. I'm one of those ladies that holds all the stress in my upper back. So I try to go to the massage therapist regularly. But I have a physically demanding job, physically demanding life. So, and we go to the chiropractor regularly, so keep me in line. But for the most part, I don't feel like it hurts my body at all. All right, we're done. My sprayer, I really don't need to use this spray with the calf because he has natural good stuff in his saliva that helps to prevent bacteria and all that stuff, but I still spray her just because I don't know when he last ate. I was gonna say for her, since she does have a calf on her, so she's not completely empty. She's pretty good. She's pretty floppy, but she also will hold up the good cream. She gives me a good amount of cream, but when she doesn't have a calf on her, I can have like half a jar of cream. Like, she gives me a lot, but they can stop. They can shut off their production and say, nope, no more. And so she gives him the good cream. That comes, it's first the milk and then it's the cream. So she's got plenty in there. So don't worry that, oh, what if he's hungry as soon as you let him out? Yeah, well, he's still got some in there. He'll be good. Did you also notice that she did not whip the heck out of me today with her tail? She's getting better. She's getting more used to it. So one thing I just know Apple's attitude after all these years. of getting to know each other, I know when she's annoyed. I know her little quirks, her little mannerisms that tell me she's annoyed. I knew the tail flicking thing. She was annoyed. It's a new place, new setup, new calf. Everything's new. And so she's trying to figure it out. So I was giving her lots of grace. I tried to keep my calm with it, and because I knew she would eventually settle down and it would be fine, and it is. It's gotten so much better. She does not whip me like crazy anymore with her tail. She stands fairly good. She, again, our other setup, she couldn't move as much as she can here, but we're getting used to it. We're getting the hang of it, and she's doing a lot better. So that's great. That makes it a little bit more enjoyable when I'm not getting smoked in the face with a tail. Especially, I'm glad she figured it out before the nastiness of like winter and spring thaw, and the tail can get really gross, especially her long tail. But all right, so I am just going to finish up in here, let the cows out, take the milk back to the house, filter it, cool it, and get on with my day. So Edna just stays in here and chills out, and she could sit there and just like, what's the word? Graze, I guess. Graze on little bits and here and there, and she'll just stand there forever until I'm done, until I tell her to leave. So that's her. And then Apple, as soon as I open that door, she'll see her baby or hear her baby. It's always nice if he gives a little because then she gives a little bit of a call to her, because then she heads right out like, oh God, I gotta get my baby. So it's not too hard to get her out of the barn. So, all right, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed learning about why I hand and machine milk. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.